Hey everybody, Coach Matt, EliteThrowsCoaching.com, doing something a little bit different for you today. We're actually going to be starting a series on kind of how to come back and how to get back into shape and get back into being a nice, big, strong, athletic thrower after a long layoff. We are actually right in the middle of the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak. Everybody is on quarantine here in the U.S. A lot of states have canceled school for the rest of the year. States that have not canceled school, they are all doing online school from home. And what seems like that is going to also be for the rest of the year. That means there will not be a spring track and field season, and who knows what's going to happen during the summer for those of you that do things like USATF and AAU track and field. There is going to be a track season next year. You're going to have indoor track in the winter if your state does that. You're going to have outdoor track next spring, and you need to be ready for it. This is especially true for those high school seniors that are going to be going to college next year and competing in college. You need to do something to get back to work. You need to do something once this is lifted, once you can get back into a gym, once you can get back into lifting again. You need to do something to make sure that you are actually able to compete and you're still in good shape and you're still strong, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So for the next few weeks, basically the next kind of 3 weeks, I'm going to be taking you through step by step the workout that I am going to be doing here at the gym. Now, we are closed. Everybody is quarantined. The gym is completely shut off from all members. My employees, my trainers are not allowed to be in here. I'm basically allowed to come in here to shoot some videos and try to keep this place afloat as everything is shut down. I have not lifted in about 5.5 weeks. Even before those 5.5 weeks that the gym has been closed, I was not doing a lot of heavy lifting myself because I was nursing a lower back injury. So really, when you look back on it, it's probably been since about right around Christmas time, so just about the past 4 months or so, that I haven't really been squatting heavy, benching heavy, deadlifting heavy, going heavier and basically pushing myself in the gym the way that you guys should be pushing yourself during an off-season program. So I'm going to be taking you around with me today, showing you my workout today, and I'm going to be doing that 4 days a week for the next 3 weeks to give you an idea of what this is going to look like. So the first thing is you want to check out how many days per week are going to be easy for you to lift. So for me, I'm doing a little bit of work at home, couple hours of work at home every day, and then kind of nothing because, again, the gym is closed, everything's on quarantine, there's no coaching, there's no track meets, there's no lifting, there's no gym, there's no athletes, there's no money coming in. I don't do anything during my day except for 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours of office work, emails, editing videos, stuff like that. So I'm going to be able to do 4 days per week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Now that might not be doable for you. Maybe you can only do 3 days a week. Whatever that is, you're going to have to figure out how many days per week you're going to be able to get into the gym. You should definitely be following more of an off-season plan. Again, there is not going to be a spring track season for high schools and colleges here in the U.S. More than likely, if you are from overseas and you are watching this, you live outside the U.S., you are not going to have a spring or a summer track season, and you've got to get prepared for next year. So that's why we're going to be starting more of an off-season plan. The off-season plan, you've got basically 4 things that you need to do during your off-season. You need to build strength, number 1. Number 2, you need to add size. Now, we're not talking about adding on a lot of unnecessary bulk and body fat and stuff like that, but we're just trying to do more of a hypertrophy-based workout where you are putting on a little bit more muscle, you are putting on a little bit more weight and a little bit more size. We're not looking to balloon up and get big and fat and carry a lot of excess body fat. We're just looking to add muscular size. After that, we're going to improve weakness. Okay, we're going to explain that a little bit, but building strength and improving weakness are 2 totally different things. They sound the same, but they're not. And then we're going to work around injuries. Now, when it comes to building strength, at the end of the 12-week block, the end of the 12-week program, we're going to be testing ourselves. Now, right now, I don't know what those tests are going to be. So that's something I need to figure out after about the first week or two to say, okay, what are we going to do at the end of 12 weeks? Maybe at the end of, say, 6 weeks we test, and then the end of 12 weeks we test again. Who knows? I'm going to figure that out today and over the next week or two as I go through this. To add size, we're going to be doing higher repetition accessory movements. Think like a bodybuilding style set and repetition. So we're not going to be doing very, very heavy weight for lower repetitions. We're not going to be doing super, super lightweight for super, super high repetitions. We're going to be right in that sweet spot. They're going to be doing anywhere from that like 12 or 10 to 15 rep range with a moderate weight. We're going to be looking to go for a pump. We're going to be looking to build muscular size. We're looking to break down that muscle tissue and build that tissue back up. Typical bodybuilding stuff. Improving weakness. Now again, this is 100% personal. As I mentioned before, I was nursing a lower back injury for the past couple of months. So my weakness right now is lower back strength. My lower back strength and my lower back health are not good. So this program is going to be designed around improving my lower back and my core strength so that I don't get injured again. And then finally, we're going to work around those injuries. So again, my lower back injury, I'm going to be selecting exercises and I'm going to be selecting sets and repetitions and weight that I'm going to be using that's going to work around injuries. So I'm not going to be doing super, super heavy deficit deadlifts. That doesn't make sense for me because that's going to put way too much pressure on my lower back. I'm not going to be doing a lot of heavy, deep squats because that's going to put a lot of pressure on my lower back. I'm going to be selecting exercises that work around my injuries. And then finally, as we already mentioned, this is going to be a 12-week block. This is going to be a 12-week training program, and we're going to work in kind of 3-week intervals. So every 3 weeks, we're going to tweak the workout a little bit. We're going to look back on the 3 weeks and we're going to say, all right, the first 3 weeks went really well, but I think it's time to start pushing this. Or I think it's time to start doing this exercise. Or I think it's time to start moving in this direction. So every 3 weeks, we're going to tweak the program with the understanding that we're still doing all 4 of these things here and testing at the end. All right, so that kind of explains a little bit about how you can create your own program at home. It's not going to be a cookie cutter program because everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to have different weakness. Everyone's going to have different injuries. Everyone's going to have different goals. So it's going to be different for you. And as we go through the workout today, I'm going to explain a little bit more. I'm going to show you the exercises that I'm doing and explain a little bit more why I'm doing them and also kind of how it fits into the scheme so you can learn from it and create your own program once this is lifted, once we're able to get back in the gym and start training again. Okay, so that takes care of sort of the explanation of the entire workout. Let's talk about what we're going to do today. And this is where all the videos are going to be from now on. We're just going to start with kind of the plan for the day. I'm going to take you through some ideas, and then we're just going to do a voiceover and get to work and show you what this looks like. So first thing we're going to do today is a warm-up. Now, when you sign up for our newsletter at elitethrowscoaching.com, you get the lower body warm-up and the upper body warm-up. What I'm doing today is a variation of that warm-up using a lot of the same exercises, but they're stretches and exercises and work that you can do, for me personally, to avoid injury and to prepare myself for the workout that's to come today. So again, lower back injury. I'm going to be working on loosening up my hips, my glutes, my lower back, doing some core strength type movements, things of that nature. So my hamstrings, upper back, things that are going to kind of help me to prevent injury and stretch myself out, loosen myself up a little bit before squatting. After that, I have a warm-up circuit. It's 3 exercises. I'm going to show you what those are. And that warm-up circuit is basically a way to trick myself into doing more volume to help correct the weaknesses that I have. So again, getting my hips a little bit stronger, getting my lower back a little bit stronger, getting my quads a little bit stronger. That way, if they are getting stronger, if they are getting bigger, if that's going to help me to prevent that lower back injury from happening again. From there, we're going to go on to the workout. So the workout, we're going to do a squat variation. I'm going to show you the variation that I chose for today. It's going to be a high box squat. So it's going to be bar on my back, squatting down, sitting down to a box that's a little bit high for me. So it's a little bit above parallel. We're going to work up to a decently heavy set of 5 repetitions. And I'm going to try to get there in about 5 to 7 sets. So I always start with the empty bar. So it's probably going to be empty bar, 95 pounds, 135 pounds, we'll see what that feels like on my back. Maybe 185, we'll see what that feels like. 225, we'll see what that feels like, and we'll go from there. I'm also going to be wearing my belt when I do it. Even with the empty bar on my back, I'm going to be using the belt just because, again, lower back injury, first time squatting in probably about 4 months with some decently heavy weight on my back. So I don't want to test or kind of push myself or kind of take any chances today. Okay, after that, the first accessory is going to be some type of a lunge variation. This is probably going to be a walking lunge with or without weight. We'll see how I feel after squatting. 4 sets of about 10 repetitions per leg. After that, we're going to do a body weight squat, kind of a fun one that a lot of people out there don't know about or haven't done in a long time. It's kind of an old-fashioned one. And it's a body weight variation for a lot more volume. So I'm thinking 4 sets of 15, but again, we'll see how it feels. We'll see how, as the workout goes on, we'll see what I feel like and if I want to go that high of repetition. And then after that, we're going to do some more exercises to correct weakness. So there's going to be a reverse hyperextension on the reverse hyper machine that I have here at the gym, and then face pulls. So face pulls are an upper back movement. It's for your rear delts, upper back, and really it's to prevent injury. All throwers should be doing lots of different pulling movements from all different angles every single day, every single week. It should be part of your warm-up. It should be part of your workout. You can never do enough. We do so much pushing and so much of this movement. We need to counteract it by doing a lot more the opposite way to help prevent shoulder injuries. That's something I wish I did very early in my career that I never did. So that's what the workout's going to look like. I'm going to go get warmed up. I'm going to show you the warm-up circuit that I do, and then I'm going to take you through and do kind of a voiceover, nice quick explanation of the workout. All right, so this is my first attempt at doing a voiceover using the new editing software that I have. So hopefully this comes out okay, but what you're taking a look at here is a little bit of the warm-up. Again, if you go to the website and sign up for the newsletter, you get this lower body warm-up, and on day 2 there's an upper body warm-up as well. But right here, striders, just trying to really open up the hips a little bit more, stretch out my inner thigh a little bit more. It's been, a good 5 weeks since I've done this warm-up. Just basically been doing a lot of walking around my neighborhood and things like that at home, just trying to break the boredom of this quarantine. But I wanted to really make sure that, I did a good job here of getting warmed up. So moving into, these are called bird dogs. So this is a great exercise that was taught to me by a gentleman named Stuart McGill, who is one of the leading people out there talking about lower back health and lower back injury recovery, excuse me, things like that. So these are great for your lower back, good stretch, good strengthening movement for the lower back. And once we finished these, I was doing 5 per side. Just nothing too crazy. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm not trying to do anything too weird or too out of place. So next thing that we're going to go into is called a fire hydrant. Excuse me, fire hydrant. This is great for opening up the hips, and we're going to do 10 forward on the right, followed by 10 forward on the left, and then we're going to be doing 10 backwards on the right, and then 10 backwards on the left. So great exercise for opening up your hips. Definitely necessary before you start squatting, because when you squat, you do want to make sure that your knees aren't caving in. You want to make sure that you're driving your knees out and not letting them collapse in what's called that valgus, knee valgus position. So again, 10 on the right going forward, and then 10 on the left going forward, and now we're going backwards. So I'm trying to touch my elbow and lift. So that was just kind of part of the warm-up. Now we're on to the warm-up circuit. So these are called elevator lunges. Elevator lunges are great for a few reasons. Number one, great to get the hips stretched out, and it's also good because, as you see, my toes are pretty close to the pipe of the power rack, so it prevents your knee from going too far forward. A lot of people, when they lunge, they really want to get on their toe and they want to push that knee really far out over their toe. This prevents that. It really stops that knee from going too far forward, and it allows you to step a little bit farther back while keeping your balance, holding on to the power rack. So from there, we're going into body weight squats. As you can see, I'm holding on to the rack more for balance, but I started to notice just how my ankles were really tight. I usually have really inflexible ankles anyway, but I started to try to push my knees forward a little bit more and get a good stretch on my ankles. Make sure my knees were going forward, make sure that I was feeling that stretch and keeping my feet straight. Now, I was going to do a 45-degree back extension, but instead I went and did these. This is similar to a hurdle step over. You can do this anywhere. You can even set this up with a broomstick in your house with a couple, lying the broomstick across a couple chairs. I'm trying to get my knees as high as possible without letting my hips and my lower back round over. So I'm trying to keep my body nice and straight. And I went through this 3 times. So this is round 2, warmed up, sweatshirts off, ready to go. And you can see here a little bit better from a side view how I'm keeping my toes pretty close to that pipe, and I'm not letting my knees go that far forward. I'm really working on stepping back and not letting my knee, if it went any farther forward, it would hit the rack in front of me, and I don't want that to happen. So great exercise, great movement, great way of teaching younger athletes how to lunge properly without them dive bombing that knee too far forward and getting the heel off the ground and putting all their weight in the ball of their foot. This is a great way of teaching them how to keep their foot nice and flat on the ground. It's also a good stretch for the hips. Now here you'll be able to see how I am letting my knees go a little bit farther forward. It's almost like a jump on that first one, but I'm letting my knees go a little bit farther forward on these squats, these body weight squats. And you can see how that's keeping my back a lot flatter, and I don't have as much of that pelvic tilt, like a dog tucking its tail between its legs. Nice deep squats, below parallel squats, and then we'll move on for a second round of these high knees. And again, you can see these high knees, these step overs. I'm not focusing on getting it so high in the air that my back completely rounds over. I'm just trying to keep my lower back nice and flat and get my feet up all the way. And I did 10 each way. So the way I count is in and out, in and out. Moving on here, we're going on to our first round of squats. So this is the first time I've had a bar on my back since about Christmas time. Really focusing on a few things here. First thing I'm focusing on is not rocking back too much once I sit on the box. I'm not unloading my entire weight on the box. About half my body weight, I'm staying nice and tight and just unloading a little bit of body weight. I tell kids all the time, it's like you're sitting down on a thumbtack or like you're sitting down on broken glass. You're not just going to plop your butt down. You're going to ease your way down. You're going to stay nice and tight. When you get to the box, you're not going to rock back and forth like you're getting up off a really, like soft couch where you have to rock forward. You're going to try to stay tight. So that was the bar for 10. Really simple. And you can see right there is a stopwatch. I time all of my rest periods. So I'm going to give myself 1 minute of rest in between every single set that I do today, not just on my main movement, but all of my accessories as well. I do this for a couple reasons. Number one, if I don't time my rest, I end up resting way too long. And a workout that should take anywhere from 75 minutes to 90 minutes ends up taking 2 hours because I spent an extra 30 minutes resting when that wasn't even necessary. So you can see here, it hasn't even been a minute yet. I'm adjusting the box. I am put the 95 pounds on the bar, hung the stopwatch, looking around. Now it's been just about a minute. So I'm going to get ready for my second set. A lot of times you have athletes that wait way too long in between sets. They're waiting 3, 4, 5 minutes. They're doing, 7 or 8 sets with 3, 4, 5 minutes of rest in between. That's like 35, 40 minutes of rest. That's unnecessary. So 1 minute of rest. I'm back under the bar. Again, working on keeping my chest up. Working on keeping my head up and back, like I'm trying to pack like a double chin movement, trying to get my head back as far as possible. And as well, I started to notice too that I was rocking back a little bit too much on some of these. So I really worked on not letting my knees go too far forward, but pushing into my knee sleeves, kind of pushing in, not sitting so far back, but just more sitting down like a normal squat, but my butt touches the box. So there's such a thing called a box squat, which has a specific form and technique. This is more squatting straight down, but there just happens to be a box under my butt. So that was 95 pounds for 8 reps. And then I did 135 for 5 reps. I didn't get that on video, but this is 185 for 5. And you'll notice this one, now that we're into the heavier weight, I'm really focusing on packing my neck, getting my chin back, and a nice easy seat. So that one looked good. The second one here had a big rock down, and when I sat on the box, you could see the bar went back really far. That one too. These last two, you're going to see I try to control it a lot better. Especially my last rep is always my best looking one. A lot less rocking on that one. So that was kind of the goal there. Less rocking, more tightness, taking all that pressure off my lower back and really trying to feel a lot more pressure in my butt and quads by sitting a little bit more straight down. Finally, here's 225. 225 did not feel that heavy today, which is normal. It's about 50% of my best competition squat ever. It's about 450, 445, 450. So this is about 50%. You can see here, I'm really working on staying tight on every rep. When I get to the top, I take in air, I get really tight. I try to brace my spine, brace my midsection and core. And when I sit down on that box, I'm trying not to rock. I'm trying just to relax my glutes a little bit and then stand up really explosively. So that was it for me. That was my 5th set and 5 reps at 225. Pretty good day. And then I moved here into my walking lunges. Now, originally I thought I was going to be doing weighted walking lunges with a light dumbbell in each hand. But after the warm-up and after all of those squats that I just did, my legs were starting to feel really tired. Again, first time doing anything like this in about 5 weeks. First time squatting since Christmas with a bar on my back. So I decided to do body weight lunges instead. These are walking body weight lunges. I'm doing 10 repetitions per leg. And as you can see, I have the stopwatch in my hand. So after the 10, I start the watch. I have 1 minute rest. And what I like to do is I walk around. So I don't just sit down or don't stand there or lean on a piece of equipment. I like to keep my body moving. In fact, later on tonight, I'm going to go for a nice long, probably like a 40-minute walk around my neighborhood just to get the blood flowing a little bit, to kind of try to counteract a little bit of that muscle soreness that I know I'm going to be feeling tomorrow and the day after. That way I'm fresh from when I deadlift and do a lot of hamstring and posterior chain movements on Thursday. So 3 days, today's Monday, 3 days later, it just won't be as sore. So just walking around, trying to move, trying to keep my legs nice and loose, watching that stopwatch, making sure I'm only taking a minute of rest. And then by the time I get back down here, I think that's going to be just about a minute. I'll stop the watch and then go right back into it again. And I did 4 rounds of 10 repetitions per leg. And just to show you, the way that I count is very much a trainer style, where it's 1, 1. So I count at the top. 2, 2, and I always start with my left. 3, 3, and it's that way too when I do like one-arm movements, like one-arm dumbbell cleans, one-arm dumbbell snatches. I'm right-handed, so my right side is my strong side. Growing up, if I was going to kick a ball, I'd kick with my right foot. Throwing a shot put or discus was always with my right hand. So I'm right side dominant, so I always start with my left side. That's something you guys can keep in mind as well. But at the end of this, what you're going to see, this is my second round. I'm not going to bore you by going through another minute of rest and showing all 4 rounds. We're just going to move on to the next exercise. So instead of doing that body weight squat variation that I had planned on earlier, my lower back was feeling a little bit wonky, so I decided to do leg extensions. These are not a favorite of a lot of coaches. It's not the most athletic movement in the world. But this time of year, you are looking to put on some size, you are looking to put on some mass, and as you can tell from looking, I certainly cannot, any chance I have to put size on my legs, I'm going to take it, because I have pretty skinny legs, especially my lower legs, so any chance I have to add some size and some mass onto my quads, I'm going to take it. So there's only, I think, 35 pounds on that leg extension machine right there, so not a ton of weight. I did 4 rounds, so 4 sets of 15 repetitions with 1 minute rest.
Nothing too crazy. Now, this is something a lot of you might not have seen before. This is a reverse hyper machine. Instead of doing a regular 45-degree extension, this is a reverse hyper extension where the weight is on your legs. It's great for tractioning of the lower back. It opens up your lower back. It gets some movement, gets you nice and mobile. You feel a nice deep stretch. But at the top, when you're doing the concentric movement, the lifting of the legs, you can really squeeze your butt and you can feel your lower back, your butt, and your upper hamstrings doing a ton of work. And this is only 80 pounds, a couple 35s and a 5-pounder on the inside that you can't see. But again, look at the stopwatch. 1 minute of rest, and I'm going to walk back and forth between them. And then finally, to end the day, we have face pulls. So I'm going to show you about 8 different face pull variations over the next few weeks. But I did 3 sets of 20 face pulls, and the 3 sets of 20 face pulls were really good. Even on squat days, it's important to have that nice big upper back to put the squat bar on. So that's why I do these every single day. And as a thrower, we're always pushing. We're pushing the shot, we're throwing a discus, we're doing a lot of damage, and we're doing a lot of repetition, moving something forward, pushing a weight. So I like to try to pull twice as much as I push.
Okay, that was really tough. First day back in the gym, not super exciting, not nearly as good as I would have wanted it to be, but that's what's to be expected after not doing anything for a few months, after not lifting heavy for a few months. You're going to feel tired, you're going to feel sore, you're going to start feeling a lot of different weirdness in your body. So let me just explain a little bit after watching that. Thank you for watching that, but let me explain a little bit. So warm-up that we did, you saw a little bit of. Again, if you sign up for the newsletter on elitethrowscoaching.com, I'll put that link right here, elitethrowscoaching.com. You get the full warm-up that I did. The warm-up I tweaked a little bit just because, again, I do have that lower back injury that I've been nursing now for a few months. It does feel better, good enough to lift, but I still wanted to be really careful. I didn't want to go crazy back my first day. We had the warm-up circuit. Now, I kind of did a little bit of an audible during the warm-up circuit. So it was supposed to be a 45-degree back extension, which I knew I was going to be doing the reverse hypers at the end of my workout. I know I had squats, and I know I was supposed to be doing a body weight type of squat, but after all of the hip stretching, hip activation, glute activation, glute stretching, lower back stretching, and kind of the lunging and stuff like that I had done, I decided not to do the 45-degree back extensions because I was already starting to feel a little bit of a pump in my lower back. Not pain, but just that kind of fullness, like when you work out, that kind of blood rush, that pump in the lower back. So instead of doing the 45-degree extensions, I did the step overs that you saw. So again, don't be afraid to kind of call an audible and change things up a little bit. Now my workout, the squat variation was what you saw in the video. That is the straight bar, no accommodated resistance, no nothing, straight bar, straight weight, down to a high box, working up to a decently heavy set of 5. So we started with the bar for 10, 95 for 8, 135 was my first set of 5. I don't think I got that in the video. And then I did 185 for 5 and 225 for 5. Now, the 225 for 5 wasn't incredibly heavy. That's about 50% of my best competition squat, like in a powerlifting meet all the time. So 50% not heavy, but again, I was really focusing on my form, my technique, protecting my lower back, staying nice and tight. I didn't want to go crazy or overdo it my first day back in the gym and risk re-injuring. Now, the box that I used was high. It's an 18-inch box. So afterwards, I didn't get it on video, but I measured the white box that I was using. It was 18 inches. And then I went back and measured the regular box that I would use that's on the other side of the gym, and that is a 15-inch box. So the box was about 3 inches higher than normal. And normally I put myself just below parallel, so I was probably about 2.5 inches above a good parallel squat. But again, that saved my lower back and made it so that you could see on the body weight squats that I was doing in the warm-up circuit, I have that little bit of like where my tail tucks under, that posterior pelvic tilt where the kind of my lower back, my tail kind of tucks under. My pelvis kind of rotates back and tucks under. So that's why I have a lot of that lower back pain when I squat deep. So that saved me. After that, lunge variation. Now, my legs at that time were already feeling like they were getting a good workout. Again, first day lifting heavy, since about Christmas time. So it was like, I didn't want to hold any weight in my hand. I made that decision. So body weight walking lunges, 4 sets of 10 per leg with a minute rest in between. So you saw a couple sets of that on the video. After that, again, called another audible. I was going to do 4 sets of 15 of a different body weight squat called a sissy squat. I hate that name, but they're called sissy squats. Maybe I'll show you those next week. So I used 35 pounds on the leg extensions instead of doing those sissy squats. 4 sets of 15, just to, again, get a good pump in my quads. I didn't do a lot of hamstring work today. I'm going to save that for when I deadlift later on this week. But I wanted to stick basically to my quads without doing a lot more squats. I already did body weight squats. I already did heavy squats. I already did 2 different types of lunges. Another set of squats, just I know my back would have started to kind of freak out a little bit. So I took the emphasis off the lower back and went to the leg extensions. 4 sets of 15 with 1 minute rest. Now, after that, you saw the reverse hypers. Now, that is a reverse hyperextension machine that was created by Louis Simmons at Westside Barbell. That's actually a Westside Barbell machine over there. And there's a lot of different ways to use it, but the reverse hyper, that's great for tractioning your lower back, getting a little bit of movement in the lower back, and kind of getting a little bit more strength from the lifting part, the concentric part of that lift. So I did 2 sets of 15. Originally I wanted to do 4 sets of 15, but I did 2 sets of 15, and again, my back not hurting, but just feeling like, okay, it's getting to work out, play it safe, stop it right there. 80 pounds with 1 minute rest. And then I did the face pulls, 3 sets of 20 on the face pulls with 1 minute rest. Again, great for your upper back. Throwers should be doing that all the time. Now, next week, how am I going to tweak this? So next week, I'm going to stick with the same squat variation. I'm going to stick with that for 3 weeks, I think. At this point, that seems like the plan. I'm going to try to go about 10 pounds heavier next week. So a nice progressive exercise, trying to stay with the same amount of repetitions, the same amount of sets, but an extra 10 pounds. So nothing too crazy, just a little bit of a step up. The lunge variation, I'm going to keep it 4 sets of 10, but I'm going to try to hold something in my hand, like a light dumbbell in each hand, just to give a little bit more resistance. Leg extensions, we'll see what I feel like next week. If my legs still feel, like they're getting a great workout, maybe I'll stick with the leg extensions. If my lower back is feeling a little bit wonky after the increased weight of the lunges and the increased weight of the squats, maybe I'll stick with the leg extensions. If it's feeling bad, maybe I'll show you guys what that sissy squat looks like. And I'm probably going to do 1 more set of 15 with the same weight on reverse hypers. And then I think I'm still going to stick with 3 sets of 20 on the face pulls, but I'm going to show you a different face pull movement. We're going to be doing different types of face pulls every single day this week. So there's probably going to be, by the end of next week, about 8 different face pull variations that you can do just to switch it up a little bit. All right, so thank you guys for sticking around, watching the whole video. I really appreciate it. For those of you that did make it all the way to the end, we are coming out. I finished shooting. I'm wrapping up the editing of the book right now. It is a minimal equipment training manual. So I understand not everybody right now has a gym that they can go to. You don't have a nicely outfitted basement or garage gym or something like that. You're stuck with minimal equipment, but you still need to train. That's what this video and book are for. When this comes out, you're going to use the coupon code COVID-19 to save 19% on that program. It's a 4-week exercise program with minimal equipment. So it's 3 workouts per week. You can do it in your basement, your garage, your backyard, your driveway, and it uses minimal equipment, non-traditional equipment, stuff that you have lying around at home. You can use a gym bag filled with books, or you can use your backpack filled with old clothes and stuff like that. Stairs that walk up and down the stairs to your house. Everything in there is to be done not in a weight room. So if you guys have stuck around to the end of that video, make sure to go to the website and type in that coupon code. The book and video, it's a combo set that should be available to you guys in about the next week. And again, the coupon code COVID-19 to save 19%. All right, That's going to do it from here. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. Stay tuned. We're going to have another one for you tomorrow going over upper body day with a lot of pushing movements. Show you again how that all plays out, my kind of mindset going into this to give you all a little bit more of an idea of what your workout should look like when you do eventually get back in the gym.